There are two settings buried in your Fujifilm camera menu that a lot of people really don't understand. And today you're going to learn about them both. Hi everyone, welcome to Pal to Tech. Today we are talking about Color Chrome Effect and Color Chrome FX Blue. These are not film simulations. They're actually effects that your camera layers on top of your film simulation. Now, in order to understand what they are and how they work, we need to revisit the RGB histogram. Every time you take a photo with your camera, your photo is built with 3 color channels: red, blue, and green. And just like how you can blow out your highlights or you can crush your shadows, a similar problem can happen to your color channels. So what would cause this to happen? 2 things. First would be that the color is very saturated. And second, the color is very bright. Understand so far? Very saturated and very bright at the same time. And that combination will end up pushing that color channel all the way up to the top of its range, which you can see right here in the camera's RGB histogram. You see how it's cranked all the way up to the top. I've got an entire video just on the RGB histogram. I'll have a link in the description below. So once that color channel is crammed all the way up, there's no more room for the camera to capture additional data about the color. For example, look closer at this Rubik's Cube. You see how the red has just been shoved to the very top of the range? When that happens, small differences between the lighter areas and the darker areas are lost. They're crushed and flattened into one, solid block of plastic-looking color. But never fear, here comes Color Chrome Effect to the rescue. And the setting pulls down those overloaded color channels, right? So that there's a little extra room for those sort of in-between color tones that bring back the detail and also give it more depth so it's less flat. I'm going to show you exactly where they are and how to use them right after this. This is the Liene N200 Pro. It's a pocket-sized photo printer, and every print comes out as a peel and stick sticker. It runs on its own USB rechargeable battery, and it's so easy to print quality photos. Open the Liene Photo app, pick a photo on your phone, and press print. Everything is done over Bluetooth. It also gives you a number of editing options and some really fun AI looks that you can apply. The 2x3 photo also has a protective coat, which resists smudges and fading. And interestingly, when you print, separate cyan, magenta, and yellow layers go down in separate passes at 313 dpi. That's what gives you cleaner gradients and more accurate skin tones. But here's the fun part. Because the paper is adhesive-backed, every photo you print is a sticker. Pick a photo, use the app to remove the background, and it prints as a peel and stick sticker. Now there's also an Instapic print mode, or you can combine several photos together for a collage. So if you want a portable way to turn your shots into photo stickers, the Liene N200 Pro is linked below. Now back to the show. Okay, so inside your image quality section of your Fujifilm menu, you'll see the 2 related settings: Color Chrome Effect and Color Chrome FX Blue. Each one of these has 3 options: weak, strong, and off. And by the way, you can also add these settings to your Q menu if you want easier access to them. Now, some of you who are using older Fujifilm cameras, like say the X-T3, that camera only has one of them. So you're either going to have Color Chrome Effect, and that's all you're going to have, or you're going to have Color Chrome Effect and Color Chrome FX Blue. So the first and most versatile, Color Chrome Effect. When you set it on weak or strong, this effect is targeting more warm and earthy, saturated colors. Think mostly reds, then yellows, and at times greens. Now the second choice, Color Chrome FX Blue, guess what? It only works on the color blue. That's it, nothing else. So think blue sky, water, and deep blue objects. And by the way, if there's no blue color in your picture, FX Blue does literally nothing. So now let's take a look at what they do. Here's a photo right here with film simulation of Velvia, which by the way, I'm going to be using throughout most of these demos. The Color Chrome Effect setting is just turned off. And as you can see with the leaves, a lot of flat red color. But check this out side by side. Photo on the left has no effect applied. Photo on the right has color chrome effect strong. And zooming all the way into 300%, you see the difference here? This is kind of a merged, melted together red blob. And here you see more definition of the leaves. There's now more depth brought back to the overall image, and the detail inside the heavy reds returned. And keep in mind that this is not a saturation slider. Instead, I think it would be more helpful for you to think of this as a gradation and depth rescue tool. Now, if I compare weak with off, the change is obviously not going to be as dramatic, of course. And what I found actually is I prefer to use strong for the color chrome effect, but not for the other one. We'll get to that in a minute. So this photo right here has two of color chrome's target colors in it, a deep red ladybug on a bright green leaf. And comparing the effect off with the effect set to strong, have a look at the difference here. The ladybug's red shell has now deepened, and the dimples and sort of markings are now back. And in this particular example, even though I had it set to strong, the shift was still a bit more gentle, but it's definitely noticeable. And in this example, you can see with the effect turned off, the brightest reds just smear together, and the yellow sort of flattens itself into one shape. But putting it on strong, the stripes separate, the folds in the fabric come back, the flowers pick up shading instead of, a flat yellow blob. And you're actually getting 3-in-1 here because reds, yellows, and greens, they're all getting their depth back in the same image. Okay, now let's take a look at Color Chrome FX Blue in action. Now, something I want you to be thinking about when you use Color Chrome FX Blue polarizer filters. If you've ever had one and attached it onto your lens and then watched the sky go richer and deeper, or the water have less glare, that's the exact look that FX Blue is trying to give you. But it's happening inside the camera and not with one of these in front of the lens. Shot on the left has no polarizer filter, and the shot on the right has it attached to the lens. And now here's what it looks like with Color Chrome FX Blue turned to strong. Definitely not as effective as using a regular polarizer filter, okay? That's for sure. Nevertheless, have a look at this right here. You've got more detail. You can see through the water. You see that right there? But here's the catch, and this one's important. FX Blue doesn't care how dark your blue already is. It applies the exact same effect with the same intensity to every single blue in your frame. And this can cause it to push it too far. Have a look at this comparison right here. You've got red and tan leaves sitting over a deep saturated blue. And so because of this, I've got a tip for you. When you set Color Chrome FX Blue, I would default to weak. Keep it at weak instead of strong. And what I've noticed is that weak will still give you the polarizer filter look, but it will not crush the blues in the background as much. Now, one thing I don't think anyone tells you is that the film simulation that you choose actually changes how Color Chrome behaves. Remember, I said it's layered on top, and so each film simulation renders color differently to begin with. So have a look at this example here. Both photos were shot with Color Chrome FX Blue set to strong. However, the photo on the left has the Velvia film simulation. The photo on the right has classic negative. That's the only change, but look at the difference here. So the takeaway I want you to have here is that always make sure that you test your color chrome effect inside the film simulation that you regularly shoot with. And finally, the two color chrome effects affect JPEG and HEIF files only. If you shoot in RAW, your RAW file will remain identical, whether color chrome is off, weak, or strong. The effect is not baked into the RAW file. But interestingly, the value that you choose, say you choose Color Chrome Strong, that does get written into the RAW file's metadata on both the JPEG and the RAW file. So to wrap this up, use Color Chrome effect when you have bright, saturated reds, yellows, and greens that you notice are starting to go a little flat. Use FX Blue for skies and water and default that to weak. FX Blue acts like a polarizing filter, but goes strong only when the blue really needs the help. It's a great feature for Fujifilm users who shoot and care very much about their straight out of camera JPEGs. Color Chrome is another tool you now have in your toolkit. Well, anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found the video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I will see you in a new video very soon. Take care.